Warning: this stream is rated for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tuba Swan SaveTheMusic.org Theater. My name is Scotty, also known as EBC, and Tuba Swan is our sponsor this month. He would like you to go check out SaveTheMusic.org and learn about the music foundation there that supports greatly music programs in the United States and making sure that students have a music program that they can subscribe to in their school system, and he would greatly appreciate you checking that out. We're actually going to have a new sponsor coming up pretty soon, but that's coming with other content that will be coming soon here on the EBC channel. All right, so this is Arcade Nostalgia Memories Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. To my right is the lovely Legion Cage. Cage, your hat is not especially attention grabbing today. What the fuck?
That is au contraire, my friend, because this is my Mr. Toad hat. For anyone who is familiar with obscure Disney, The Adventures of
Mr. Ichabod or Mr. Toad and Ichabod.
Yeah, whichever. Mr. Toad is actually one of my favorite characters in Disney, despite being very obscure. This is my Mr. Toad hat, so I wore it in honor of Halloween.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
It's just my hat is just deep today. That's all.
Oh, okay. It's like intellectually inserted into some kind of orifice, or
something like that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it said lining Googles. I just thought it was a beer hat.
Yeah, there you go. And you might have just heard a couple of voices that are not on the screen, so we'll get to them in a second. I was lazy and I didn't make an entire two set overlay for everybody. But you'll see, because this is special. This is a special episode because we don't have 3 people on this episode. We have 5. Ooh, 5 people. Okay, so first of all, I chose randomly because I like his goatee and I think it makes a nice scrub pad for like when you're doing the dishes. Rageful Riot on the main screen here. Rage, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well.
Thank you for joining us. All right, so now I'll switch over here and we'll do this thing here, and now you can see the other people that are with me today. And that is, MrWrong and Abbi from TheGamingAvengerz. MrWrong, how are you this afternoon? Alive? Yeah, maybe.
You don't get. I'm alive.
Maybe we have to play a horror game and you die, and that'll take care of that problem, right? And Abbi, what's going on?
Not much. Gonna talk about some horror games.
All right. Good. So yeah, this is the episode where we're going to do a horror game genre roundtable. And I have been tossing that phrase around so much in the past several months that the people on screen are sick of me now for saying that. And yeah, the entire concept is we're not going to do like a typical episode here where we interview a gamer about their favorite game or one of their favorite games. We're the people on screen, aside from Cage, because I don't know, he's not a gamer at all. He just pretends to be one. But everybody else, they are very in tune to the horror game genre. Mostly things that are modern. We had a few other people that were going to join us, but ended up having some issues with people being sick and emergencies cropping up and stuff like that. So we're not going to do so much of the retro variety, but we will mention some of that. But everybody here is really attuned to the horror genre as a whole, and these are games that appeal to them. So we're going to be discussing just about every aspect of the entire genre of horror gaming, and we'll try to cover as many bases as possible. So first of all, I did want to mention that where did I put it? I lost everything that I had now here, including my brain.
Me too. I feel that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention briefly, as kind of like a start to this whole thing, some of the games that kind of started the horror genre. Like, I mean, you think about Atari and how, like, the kind of humble beginnings the video games had when it was, just bits on a screen and you're moving it around and trying your best to move through whatever convoluted thing they had. Obviously there was not much room for the sort of things that have made horror games what they are today, but there were some humble beginnings. Like I'm going to throw out some names here of games that you might want to look at if you're into retro and you're into horror, and that is I thought it was hilarious as I was looking into this. Soft and Cuddly is the name of a horror game you might want to look into that's retro like that. Chiller, Monster Party, Uninvited, and then some that you're probably more familiar with: Maniac Mansion, Splatterhouse, Castlevania, Friday the 13th, and yeah, some of those games, like I know some people in our community we've seen playing Doom, actually holds a world record now on speedrun.com for Friday the 13th. And many people in our community have played various games in the Castlevania series, primarily Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I myself am getting ready to do my first speedrun on that now that I worked out some technical issues. And I'm not going to be any good, relatively speaking. I'm probably going to be like, I don't know, 400th in the world or something, but out of 6. But, it'll be a thing. And a lot of people in our community have played Castlevania 2, Castlevania 1 as well. So I would say that's, kind of some of the humble beginnings Steven, did you say you played some of the Castlevania games?
I honestly, I've only ever watched Mikey play.
Oh, okay.
I've never played them myself. Um, it's enough where it's made me interested. Like I've kind of learned. Like if I was to play it, like I think I'd be okay. I would not get any high scores or anything because I don't know anything about speedrunning. But watching Mikey play as much as he does, and then Meggles too,
Right.
and Satdash, just watching all of them play them, like I probably could get through the game.
Yeah, I
But
mean, honestly,
don't know enough about it.
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's how I got into it, was just watching them and watching several of their speed runs and saying, okay, that's how you do this. And then, well, even further than I looked up a guide and I was looking at, a map of the thing and seeing how it was to be done before I felt comfortable enough to actually play it without that and, get to a point where you're beating the game.
Right.
And
And Rob, weren't you and Short and Sweet both doing a collab before too? Like you both were streaming it and playing it at the same time? Did you guys finish that?
It was of Zelda 2, and no, we have not yet. Thanks for reminding me.
yeah, yeah, you still have to go finish that shit.
Call him out.
We will. We actually talked about it on our flight home from California a couple weeks ago.
Oh, your flight home. I thought you said your fight home. I was just like, that's an odd thing to fight about. Yeah, we still gotta beat Zelda too. God damn it. And Rob, you've played some of the other Castlevania games too, primarily Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, Symphony of the Night is actually, I'd probably, like, without like getting to the gritty of it and like writing it down, I'd probably consider Symphony of the Night one of my top 5 all-time favorite games. I played through countless times. The game is absolutely fantastic. And I've played
fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. I've played most of the other Castlevania games in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I may have completed 3 when I was a kid, but beyond Symphony of the Night, I don't think I've ever completed any of the other ones.
Okay.
And I completed Castlevania 2 with Doom literally guiding me through the game.
Right,
so.
yeah. But that's almost what it kind of takes, because like I look at Castlevania 2 and I know that if it wasn't for me, and that's why I chose to look at a guide and a map, is that if it wasn't for those, I would have never figured it out. I would have never completed it. I'd be wandering around for days trying to find what the hell do I do next and never finding it, because it's kind of an obscure way to advance that game if you've ever played it. But as far as the horror genre goes in the retro, here's what I see from those games, just kind of amateurishly filling in for Doom and whoever else was going to be here but couldn't make it. And that is, you had gaming that was designed to engage the gamer, but it wasn't necessarily immersive. I mean, a lot of it was platformers, a lot of it was puzzles. It was things that you had to almost always do over and over again until you got good enough to beat the game as it was. And it wasn't so much anything but a learning experience. So when they started building horror storylines into these games, like I saw a little bit of that in our season 2 first episode with Short and Sweet presenting Dark Chambers, where you had some kind, characters that were a little bit more geared towards that horror genre, skeletons or ghosts or wizards or things like that, maybe a little bit of fantasy thrown in. And the other aspect of that was games based off of movies. So, like Ghostbusters. When NES came out with the Ghostbusters game, and they were basing that on the movie itself. And the only reason it was necessarily coming out was because of the movie. And slowly as the popularity of those movies increased, they started to build more of them into a game scenario. You got the Addams Family, you've got what's that other one? I don't know, the name escapes me at the time, but I mean, at
The
least
Monsters, but I don't think they had a game.
no, there was something else I was thinking of that I think NES built into a game. But
The Titanic, which failed terribly.
yeah. Or even it's not horror related, but like Back to the Future. And the Back to the Future game is so funky and weird and almost unrelated totally to the movie, but that's what they were going for, was just binding off of the name.
Oh, probably Nightmare on Elm Street might be the one you're thinking of, because
Yeah,
someone just mentioned Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And that one at least followed like a general idea of
Right.
what the source material was. Nightmare on Elm Street, like, literally is just, they just put Freddy in some
right.
game.
Yeah. So I think it didn't start. I guess what I'm really trying to wrap all that up as saying is it didn't start as a method to try to scare the gamer. It was just a bunch of random things that were built in because they thought this movie was cool or this character is cool or something like that, and thought it would sell games. Then, as we started getting into the 90s, we started seeing some of these games more slanting more towards that, like Silent Hill. Has anybody here played Silent Hill? Besides Isnib in the chat?
On my list.
Yeah,
It's
it's
on
on
your
my
list.
list.
May have at some point, like way back in the past. I'm pretty sure I did play it, but I liked Resident Evil more. So
Yeah. And actually, we had 3 in the 90s that kind of set off a whole series of things. That's Silent Hill, Parasite Eve, and Resident Evil. And I think then, now that we're starting to get into the better graphics, better music, even maybe a little bit of voice acting being included on the games, and certainly storylines that were becoming far more prevalent, that's when they started, like trying to incorporate elements that were designed more to scare people. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Yeah, here we go. Come on. Are you actually going to do it? Here we go. Now, Isnib just played this recently, not too long ago, and seeing this kind of an opening, and I believe this was for PlayStation 1, yeah, to take this, it's almost like we're now entering into the CG era, and we've got all these computer graphics that are designed to tell a story before you even start playing the game.
yeah, burn it all.
I'm so lost already.
And it's very confusing at first, and you're just like swept into this game, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And you just kind of figure it out as you go along.
And then you teleport into some other area with a gun.
Rats.
Ugh. Oh no.
Epona, no!
Oh no, the horsey. Oh, not that tongue,
Oh
though.
my gosh.
Oh, no. Cerubius, what has happened to you?
MrWrong, I think you should play this one.
Oh god, I would not be okay. This is a lot of, not like scare factor, but like, not even that. I have an issue with like slimy things, like tentacle stuff. Like, I don't like that. I don't like
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Well, and Parasite Eve was very similar, I think, to like the Resident Evil series, or how that was being portrayed in the beginning with the T
Right.
virus and how it mutates the characters, and that becomes the monsters you have to fight.
Yeah,
Um,
it was similar kind of in that vein. It was similar in the control too. The big thing that like was different about that one, because that was made by Square Enix, so they put like an RPG twist on it.
I was gonna say, because when I saw Iz playing it, like he could level up his gun and stuff or something like that, right?
Yeah, you got like experience points, and you could upgrade your weapon, and you got more HP as you leveled up, and all that kind of stuff. It was basically Resident Evil with a RPG twist.
yeah, let me play the Resident Evil trailer here too.
It reminds me of. I need to bring it up here. I gotta find it.
Oh man, you're playing the wrong one. You should play the intro movie to the original PlayStation release.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
which
No,
one?
no, I'm kidding. Like you play this one. I just the original opening to the PlayStation release of the game is just real cheesy because it's like real people. It's
Oh.
not,
Oh.
like, it's not like game footage.
Jill, come on! Chris, this way. Make for that mansion!
Oh, this is the
The show
remastered.
must go on.
Yeah.
This
It's not
is-
like we're out of this yet.
I think you'd better take a look at
What
this.
is it?
No.
Oh. Huh? Chris!
A wizarding tool. Play wizard's chess. Oh, this is the remake?
Yeah, they
Remaster.
originally released this remake on GameCube,
Yep.
and then they remastered it and put it out on current gen consoles a couple years ago.
I think this is the one that I might have downloaded. This might be the one that I have. That I
Yeah.
haven't played yet.
But that gives you an idea of, the Resident Evil series. It was kind of the same thing, but just, hopped up in a
Right.
different story fashion. But at least from what I can see, when we started moving into the 90s with the better graphics, the better music, and even some voice acting in that, they really started making this shift with horror games towards storylines that were intended to frighten the gamer. Or
Right.
instill fear or jump scares or things like that. So is there any other games in that era that you guys have experience with and have played previously? And
So, after watching the Parasite Eve, it reminded me of a game that was exclusive to the PSP, and it was never made into any other game. Like, you can only play it on the PSP, and that's it. It's called The Third Birthday.
That's the third game in the series for Parasite
Is
Eve.
it? That's one that I played, and like, it was very different, but like, I've never been able to finish it because it's for the PSP. I don't got one of
Right.
those anymore. But that game very much was really neat. Also, the character reminded me of Lightning from Final Fantasy.
Oh.
well, maybe
okay.
you want to look into emulator at this point, see if you can get a PSP emulator and find the ROM
Ooh,
just to
We'll
revisit
talk
that.
about that, Stefan. We'll talk.
I wanna play it.
Wink, wink, say no more.
I mean, worst comes to worst, my dad has a functioning PSP.
Nice.
Ooh, the
I think I
covet.
do actually still
the
have the
coveted.
UMD for that particular game too.
He went to a store and was like, he like shelled out like way more money than he should have to have them fix the PSP that he had.
Really?
Hmm.
Well, there you go. See, you got the contact. You got the inside person, man.
Exactly.
All right. So that pretty much wraps up the 80s and the 90s because I mean, yeah, we could spend some more time on that, but I think honestly besides Castlevania, Splatterhouse, Maniac Mansion to some degree, Friday the 13th for sure. And the only reason we maybe really know Friday the 13th is because of Doom playing it. And that was a big game in his childhood. And to the point where, he's actually very good at not only beating the game if he can, because you can't always do it depending on the circumstances, but also then going ahead and posting his speedrun score or time.
Right.
And then Silent Hill, Parasite Eve, and Resident Evil. There was a game I found in the 90s list called I Have No Mouth and Must Scream that I don't care what it is, I want to see a playthrough for that title.
Terrifying.
Yeah. And a couple others, because I didn't know about the games before I saw the movie, but I loved the story of Silent Hill, and then being able to watch Isnid play Silent Hill was a real treat.
I know nothing about Silent Hill other than Pyramid Head is in it. That's
Yes.
it. That's
Yep.
all I know about it.
Yeah.
Do I need to know anything else about it?
It's spoopy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a typical 90s horror survival. So
There's a lot of blood, like lots
Yeah.
and lots of blood everywhere.
Oh.
yeah, and,
my
and
only understanding of Silent Hill comes from Dead by Daylight. So
right.
Yeah, same.
Right. So that's almost like me being introduced to the game Silent Hill through the movie Silent Hill. We come
watch
back
the movies.
to that after the fact, and Isnid was like, yeah, the movie storyline is nothing like the game storyline. They just hit on a totally different storyline for that, and I'm like, okay, I never knew any of that because I'd never seen the game before.
What one came first?
The game.
The game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a trend lately, though. They'll take games and turn them into movies
Yeah.
now. Instead of like you mentioned at the beginning, you mentioned how they were taking games and basing them off of movies, like the Ghostbuster one you mentioned,
Mhm.
E.T. That was like
That game is horrifying.
it's terrifying. Like that's
This-
a game based off of a movie, and now lately it kind of feels like it's the reverse. You've got games that are so beloved by a lot of people, and then they make a movie off of it and hope that they do it right.
and even television series. I mean, they just did a story or a TV series on Halo.
Mhm.
Start
They have a
just
Resident Evil
recently.
TV show too.
Yeah,
Don't watch the Resident Evil one. Don't.
you don't like it?
Don't. You don't need that teenage cringe.
No,
I
It's
was gonna
so
say I've
bad.
heard from multiple people that it's bad.
It's so
the
bad.
the animated TV show.
No, not the animated one. The
Oh.
real life one.
Oh, got it.
Like the only thing they got right in the actual TV show was some of the actual like horrors that they run into.
Okay.
They didn't keep it explicitly zombies. Like some of the actual other things. That was the only cool part about the show. Everything else was just angst. That's it.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I get enough of that from reading actual books. I don't need that.
But I mean, yeah, it's basically become a thing because I think they want to like draw on untapped storylines or storylines that have been tapped but they are due for a redo or could use modern graphics or something like that. Like, I mean, we were just talking before we started here about Child's Play and how there's like 8 movies in the series. Well, they just came out in 2019 with a reboot of the entire series. Brand new person plays Chucky and all.
Right.
So
Yeah, but they also just came out with a TV show too that actually takes it back to the original series. Like that
I saw that too.
2019 movie was nothing.
Yeah.
Did they ever come out with an actual game where you play as Chucky or anything? I actually don't know if they did that or not.
Nope.
If we could play a game where you're just Chucky and you just go around and kill people, like I do that. I'll go play that.
That'll be the
Kill
next.
that.
That'll be the next killer in Dead by Daylight.
I hope so. Their
That would be
newest
so
one.
fun.
They just announced, I think, they're collabing with another company. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the game series. They're collabing with another game series, and their new killer is coming out like really soon, and a lot of people are really, really pissed off about it.
I thought when before we get too much into that, I want to take a commercial break here before we move on into the more modern stuff. But I thought Dead by Daylight was genius to work with Stranger Things, and they had the Demogorgon and what's her face and the guy in there as
Steve
characters.
Harrington and
Yeah.
Nancy Wheeler.
Yeah,
Steve.
that was genius of the
Steve
company.
Harrington.
Yeah.
And it didn't last that long, it ended after a while because of licensing or whatever other thing, but
Yeah.
that was a genius move on the part of the company.
Well, I think they're doing it again.
Oh, with
I think
Stranger
they're gonna-
Things?
I think they're doing another one, and I think they're going to bring the main monster from season 4. I haven't seen season 4 yet.
Yeah,
Vecna.
Vecna, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah.
bringing Vecna in as a killer. That's what people are talking about. That's nothing
the
is
rumor.
confirmed. Yeah.
That
I
would be
just
a smart idea for them. And then if they bring in the new character from the dungeon master, if they bring him in,
Eddie.
if they bring Eddie in, sold.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, before we go any further, let me do a short commercial break here, and then we'll come back and we'll start moving into the 2000s.
I actually know a lot
That's
about
scary
the
in and of
2000
itself.
games.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to move squarely into the 2000s, and let's start with Cage's favorite game of all time, apparently. Depending on from the way he just described it while we were in the break there, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Let's watch the trailer here first.
Flesh, bone, bound together with the oddest magical incantation. This wretched book is where it all began so long ago. Before time, before humanity. I am Dr. Edward Royvis. I am a clinical psychologist. I am also dead. This is not my story, nor even the story of the Royvis family. It is the story of humanity. Like it or not, believe it or not, as you will. Your perceptions will not change reality, but simply color it. Humanity has been on the edge of extinction for 2 millennia, ignorant of so much and dependent on so few. The Guardians grow restless. Their time once
Ew, it's pulsating.
It's
Whether
the
by
carrion.
fate or misfortune, my family has crossed their path.
It's like the Sarlacc.
They didn't take kindly to it.
God, this intro music though makes me want to fucking go.
Mr. Wrong's over here getting lit.
Give me my glow sticks. Yeah. The music is getting just as hype.
Music's amazing.
Just think of a modern movie trailer.
Can't help but feel like this is Tomb Raider of the ages.
In a way, kind of, I guess, maybe.
Is that Indiana Jones?
Bro.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Huh?
I hate snakes.
Is that the Volturi from Twilight?
They called it. They knew it was gonna happen.
They did. The blood graphics are fantastic.
I can't help but notice a lot of them stab them in the gut specifically each time.
Oh yeah. That looks so cool.
Ah!
Oh no, Calypso fell down.
Dude, she like just died.
Yeah, just dead. Just fine.
It's fine. Isaac, I have a new game for you. Oh my gosh, that game looks,
Calypso.
that game, it looks exactly like Isaac's type of game.
There we go. It will damn my soul.
I was like, he's yelling
Scroll
something,
away,
but
this
I don't know
is
what he's
Robert
saying.
Portman.
Shut
Isaac,
up.
I'm writing down all of these games that they're talking about that I think you might like.
We're definitely
You
not
can look them up
supporting
later.
that guy. Hold on. Let me get rid of this thing here. Hold on.
Get rid of the ad.
There we go. That's good enough. I don't want that guy on my feed. Anyway, so very story intensive.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I mean, the you could tell just from the trailer how complex the story is going to get once you start playing.
Right.
So what can you tell us about that, Cage?
So yeah, the game is very story intensive. As the character in the trailer kind of reveals, it's a story throughout the ages kind of deal. You are in the present and like you're transported into your ancestors like in the past type of deal. Now, the game has got zombies and all that kind of stuff you guys saw there. The thing that trailer didn't show that I find kind of entertaining and I think would have really drawn a lot more people. This game is not like, it wasn't like insanely popular when it came out. It was just kind of a thing. They didn't show any of it in there, but the game actually messes with you, the player. There's been games specifically that I've seen in the past where, it might invert your controls or something like that.
Oh,
Right?
What?
The game makes you question your own sanity as you're playing it. It will, like, you'll see the little lines pop up on the bottom of the screen, like your TV's just lowering the volume. It'll make you think your TV turned off completely. It'll turn to something completely different.
what?
It
That's
messes
awesome.
with you.
That's amazing.
This is
Okay.
legitimately one of the coolest ever played, and I didn't touch it until, it would have to have been sometime in the past 14 years, because Short and Sweet's actually the one who introduced me to it. She had a copy of the game when we got together, and she kept telling me, "Oh, you need to try this sometime. You need to try this sometime." So one night we sat down and started playing it, and yeah, this game will literally try to mess with you and make you question your own sanity. Now, maybe in a current day, because like most TVs don't have those types of like volume bars or whatever, it's going to be a little bit easier to determine that,
Yeah.
it's not actually doing that. But you think about in 2002, 3, 4, whenever that came out, like that was nuts. That was gonna get people, and
Right.
yeah. So no, it's legitimately awesome, and anyone who has a GameCube or other means that can play this game, I do strongly recommend it. Sadly, this I haven't checked it in a while. The game is actually fairly expensive, so getting a hold of a legitimate copy might cost you a little bit, but
That's why
console at this point too.
That's why Cage owns a
it.
copy. You have to rent his.
Cage, can we rent your copy? Because we're borrowing Ben's GameCube right now.
You can talk to Short and Sweet because it's technically her game.
Oh, okay. I'll message her.
Okay. There you go.
She's in the chat. She hears you.
Wheeling and
She- yeah, I was
dealing
gonna
on
say
the
she's
Arcade
right here.
Nostalgia Memories podcast. You know.
Yeah, this game by itself currently is averaging bare minimum $65 online.
What?
That's
You just-
actually not that bad.
But that's just the disc. Like when I say just the game by itself, I mean I'm literally talking about just the disc itself. If you want to get the
Oh.
case and manual, like, and have an actual complete copy like this one is, it's gonna run you $100 minimum.
Oh, jeez.
Damn.
Better fork it over, Hardy.
It's a fairly rare game, like I said.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But yeah, check it out if you are a fan of horror. Cage gives it his full thumb approval. Go buy the game. There you
Two
go.
thumbs.
Yeah, 2 thumbs.
Two
Full
thumbs,
thumb.
not just one.
Full
Okay.
throttle. 2 thumbs, full throttle.
All right, let's go ahead and move on then to Fear. Fee 5 FEAR.
Fuck everyone and run.
Is that actually? Tell me it's not what it actually stands for.
Legit for the game, though.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh,
It's
sorry, I
really
didn't realize.
well, though.
I didn't realize this was a Hoonie Pop-esque game too.
Starts off with Blade, with no connections. Don't ignore what it just said underneath it. That's not what it means.
What is that?
Under attack. Everyone's just dying around me. God, this brings back so many memories.
It's a goddamn ambush.
Oh my god. Okay, for sure I will be streaming this again. I need to stream this in general.
Full send, full send.
If you do it from Steam, it's really wonky trying to stream it at like 720.
Oh, is it? Shit.
Yeah, I tried to stream it and make adjustments to it.
I'll have to. I'll play around and make sure my shit doesn't just fail.
This game has not yet been rated.
This game has not yet been rated.
And it never
This has
was
been
again.
It's not been rated, but didn't the trailer say "fuck" as he throws a grenade? This hasn't been rated yet, but we have full-on swear words. Don't worry about
I'm pretty
it.
sure I heard
Don't
the
worry
F
about it.
word, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
You know what? Whatever you gotta do,
Yeah,
man.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That looks
Those
like the
games.
remake.
Okay, so the first ones came out when I was like, I think in middle school, and then I first played them when I was a freshman, and so like me and a buddy of mine, we both played the game at the same time, but not together. So like we would talk about our experience and like how to get through like certain areas, and I'd be upstairs like under my blanket playing because no joke, I would yell because there's just so many jump scares, and I'm just like, just
Video games don't cause violence, but they do cause us to learn how to say fuck.
Okay, so that seems to me like now we're getting into games being more of that immersive experience, so much so that even sitting in front of a television, not having necessarily headphones on, you know, or something like that, you're sitting in front of a television and it's immersive enough that it's
Yeah.
scaring the shit out
Right.
of you on purpose.
Oh yeah.
I was fucking paranoid. Like I would do it to myself. I would shut the lights off. It's just the TV light, and I'm just sitting under the
Yeah.
blanket, just like, oh. You know, like when you're playing like Call of Duty or something, and like you're like, check the rooms. Yeah, that would be the entire game. You're like, don't move fast. Anything could happen at any time. Like, be
Right.
ready.
Oh yeah, and then there's also the fact that even if you check the room, you can still get
even
caught
if
off
you
guard.
check the room, as soon as you walk in, the little girl just show up. You're like, and just
Just immediately just start shooting.
Now, Abby, did you say you also played Fear?
I've watched people play it. I have not played
okay.
it myself. No.
Okay. How about you, Rage? Did you play that?
Oh yeah, I played all 3 of the Fear games.
What were your experiences playing the first Fear and even, you know, the sequels after that, like the first time? What was it like to play those games when you first did?
So it was honestly the first horror game I ever played.
I think I can actually say that too. First one.
And so when I first started playing, I think they had a demo originally, and I remember playing the demo, and it scared the crap out of me. Because in the demo, there was like a body falling from the ceiling, and you weren't expecting it. And you're like, oh my god! But yeah, playing it for the first time, they had these moments where I would get confused. Like, wait, I wasn't. Where did all this blood come from? There was nobody here 2 seconds ago. Why am I in a different hallway? Or suddenly the door opens and something jumps out at you, or something falls from the ceiling and you're not expecting it. I remember jumping and being like, terrified the whole time, afraid of walking in a room. Like, okay, well, I walked in this previous room, and last thing I know is something came up from behind me, even though there was nothing behind me. So I remember just being absolutely terrified playing the first games. The rest of the games, they're still like, they still kind of got me with the jump scares and stuff, but I was more prepared because after the first game, I was like, okay, I now know I'm not safe at all.
Yeah, 100%, 100% accurate. Of like the way you described it is exactly how I played it too.
Okay, so
Like
and
everything.
and you two in particular, did that alter the way that you played those horror games versus a more regular game?
Oh yeah, because whenever I would go into a level, I would always assume there was something going to come up behind me at any given moment. So I wasn't just linearly walking forward and just aiming forward. I was basically rotating around the entire time, looking all around me like something would come up behind me this time.
Yeah, I can say for sure that it's changed how I played games too, just for the fact that at this point, like, check every corner. Like, this is why I became like a hoarder of items in a lot of games, where like, if the map lets you go here, I go there. I make sure I found everything you possibly can in that area, so that it's done. You're done with it. It's over.
I mean,
oh yeah, and then also the amassing of ammo and armor and health always scared me. Always scared me, because you knew something terrible was about to happen.
And games still do that to this day. And so like but like by now we're like trained in it. We see it and we're like, nah.
Oh yeah.
You've run into it too many times where you get to this area and then you just keep dying. You're like, nope, gotta search, gotta make sure I have all the ammo, all the armor. Like, before I get to this area, I need everything, because we've done it too many times where you get to there and then you just die.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's when you start realizing there's hidden spots you didn't see the first few times.
Well, that was going to be the big thing for me, because I'm not by any means into gaming nearly as much as you folks, but I felt if I'm going to play a modern game like that, horror or otherwise, my OCD does not allow me to do it any other way but to check every fucking nook and cranny, make sure I get every single thing that is available to me to, you know, fight the monsters, do your thing, and win the game. I have to check everything. So that almost sounds like it comes part and parcel with survival horror, that you have to do that in order to find just about everything that you need to actually beat it.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're saying is that when we goad you into playing BioShock, which everyone in the chat right now can go ahead and donate towards Scotty's community challenge to make him play BioShock.
Oh, sorry, going right now.
BioShock's not a horror game, but okay.
You're going to play it to 100% and find everything.
Pretty damn close. I mean, when it comes to like when you were describing the tapes, I think there's 100 tapes or something to get all of the story, essentially.
All the diaries, yes.
Oh, okay.
I would think yes. That would mostly be my goal, but not necessarily like it has to be done in order to complete the game, so to speak. That's probably what I would aim for, but if it gets to a point where it starts to irritate me that I'm just not finding the last two or something like that, I'll be like, okay, fuck it, I'm done.
No, you said you had to find everything, and there are 122 audio diaries in Bioshock.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Jeez.
But I mean,
I never
essentially,
did that.
look,
a lot.
I'll tell you straight out. If Bioshock becomes a thing that I truly want to play, like you guys goad me into it because you think you can make me do it with this challenge, even though you failed horribly the last time. But
because you put it at 1,000,000 points.
It was impossible to do. It was too high. There was no chance.
you didn't even try. You're just like, it's too high. I can't do that shit.
You needed to stream every day, and everyone would need to give 2,000 every day for an entire month in order for that to be obtainable. And I did the math.
So if we get to that point here, and I play it, and I find I actually like it and want to play, continue playing it or do second, third playthrough, etc. Yeah, that's going to be my goal at some point would be to do 100% completion.
What is your hesitancy towards Bioshock, if I may ask?
I don't like...
Because it's not horror.
No, it's not. Not really. I mean, there's some scary elements from what I've seen, but it is... I'm not a fan of modern gaming, period. Like the way any of these, let's say Resident Evil, especially the more modern Resident Evils, or any of these with this 3D environment, I never played on anything that even remotely resembled an Xbox controller. Okay, I stopped with N64. So anything PlayStation, GameCube, Xbox, any of that, I never played until more recently. So my gameplay experience is it's not there, not even halfway there. Okay, and in approaching a game like Bioshock, okay, I'm willing to do that, especially because I love the storyline and I love the architecture and the setting and the look and feel of things. But I have to get used to the controls, and it's going to take me far longer with my addled 40-year-old brain than any of you who have been doing this your entire life to figure out the controls and get used to them and move around and be effective at what I'm trying to do. And yeah.
I mean, obviously...
Would you guys quit singing in my chat, please?
Obviously, Whitney, like, she'll praise the game up and down. She has it tattooed on her wrist. Like, the game is...
Would you kindly?
Yeah, would you kindly?
Yeah.
And, like...
That's why...
The game itself, I don't think the controls are actually too difficult. The only thing is aiming.
For you,
I can't play shooters very well, and like that's almost a shooter.
Yeah,
atrocious at shooters. I'm horrible.
Yeah, I'm bad when it comes to shooter games.
I loved
okay.
Bioshock Infinite for me was like
Okay, so when the Epic Game Store had them for free, I got all three. So there, I have them, and I will at some point probably go ahead and approach that and say, let's do this, But it's as bad as you guys think you are at that now, because it's a shooter or whatever. I'm 10 levels below that in the dungeon because I've never even approached games like that. So I could do retro platformers, like I grew up on Mario 1, Mario 3, Donkey Kong, Dr. Mario, those sorts of things. But... and even into the N64, we didn't even have an SNES. I played that much later. But N64 then, Super Mario World, what do we do? Pod Racing, Wave Race, a couple of other ones from that. That's the only experience that I have with that sort of stuff. So that kind of stuff comes easier to me. But yeah, I have to get used to that Xbox style controller, 2 joysticks, and a D-pad, and additional bumper buttons and all this other bullshit. And
It took forever for Short and Sweet to understand. I don't want to say understand. She understands the dual analog sticks, but like to get her thumbs to maneuver with that because
at the same time.
It was like until we got together, she had very little experience with like the current generation of gaming at that point in time. She pretty much stuck to the retro stuff. About the GameCube is about as far as she got, and technically it had 2 analog sticks, but hardly ever used them.
And now more recently, I've gotten into, in particular, Creativerse, but open sandbox, Minecraft and stuff like that. And I can get into that because that's also just point and click on WASD. So I can deal with that. That's not that difficult to learn, and most of those are kind of user-friendly learning curves anyway.
Yeah.
But it will take me a good hot fucking minute to figure out what the hell I'm doing in BioShock. So
I recommend playing it on easy.
On easy?
Yeah, honestly, BioShock, if you play it on easy, the story is not going to change. And the story is probably the best thing about the game.
Right.
100%.
And like, just for the fact that I don't think the third one, but the first 2 have alternate endings.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what you choose to do. The first one, I believe, has 3 endings that you could have.
Okay.
Whereas the second one, I think, only has 2 endings.
I don't think Infinite has different endings.
No, Infinite always ends... No, Infinite has multiple endings too, actually.
I've only ever played it once.
I just thought about it, but there's like a true ending, and then there's like
That's
2 other... And I think that one actually has 3 endings also.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
I gotta replay it now. God damn it, MrWrong.
So I'm not opposed to it, but it's gonna take me a long fucking time to actually figure it out.
I think that's so... It blows my mind, because, like, we're talking about these games, and you guys are like, I was playing this in my bedroom with, like, the blankets over or whatever. Guys, I was 6 when Fear came out. Like, I was so young. My first introduction to horror games was in, like, I was 15 in 2014. So, like, all these games you guys are talking about, I'm like, guys, I was so little.
Yeah.
I was 3 when Eternal Darkness came out. 3.
Well, it's your damn fault for not playing that at 3 years old. So
you know what? You're right. God damn it! I'm gonna call my mom right now and yell at her. How dare you didn't let me play this?
Mom, I was 3. I wanted to play Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem because I wanted to lose my mind, and you didn't let me. We were a horrible mom.
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob. You sure think I'd be allowed to play a horror game at 3?
Oh, but yeah, we talked about that.
When
on
I was
your guys'
3 years
episode.
old, I'm watching, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies where, this burned up guy is slashing people with a razor glove,
Oh, great.
I'm the youngest of 4 children, so like at that point, my parents just didn't give a fuck, so they just let me watch whatever, and if I was uncomfortable, then I could leave.
Yeah, that's how my brother is. My younger brother.
Okay, before we move out of the 2000s, I want to watch the Dead Space trailer.
Yes.
So let's do that here.
The new one or the original?
The original.
Ah.
I think this is the original.
We're gonna find out.
When this
Isaac, you're in a game. Isaac, we're talking about you.
My boss had recently gotten a surround sound system, and he bought the game and he took it home, and the next day he comes into work and he's like, I asked him how it was, and he's like, I started playing it with all the lights off and the surround sound system on, and that was a mistake. I lasted about 10 minutes.
Big move right there.
The USG Ishimura, biggest cracker in her class.
Honestly, when you play games in the dark and like set the mood for a horror game, you're just fucking yourself over in the long run.
I hereby declare Captain Benjamin Mathias unfit for duty. The mark must be delivered to the church. I'm sorry, Ben, but I can't let you do this.
Yeah, I don't think I ever made it to where that red thing is.
USG Killian responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
I played through a good chunk of the game, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah. Maybe when the new one comes out, I'll actually give it a fair try, but with it how bad it was with my computer. Like, there was actually some really good jump scares in this game, but with just how it was functioning with the computer really ruined the play for me.
Right. Is the Calypso project a remake of this, or is it like a sequel?
No. I don't think it's even connected.
Oh, it's not.
I want to say that the original developer, or like someone from who helped with Dead Space also is part of the team or heading this project with Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
It is directed by Glenn Schofield, who had previously co-created the Dead Space series.
Oh, okay.
Google for the win.
I was gonna say, because I was like, I don't think it has any. I don't think it's like in the same universe as Dead Space.
Okay, so that looks like Alien without the aliens, or
Yeah.
It's like
Worse than
mixed
Alien.
with, like Doom.
yeah.
It's a lot like Doom.
You know, I completely forgot about Doom on my list here.
Doom.
Let's not Angle Doom. Doom.
No.
Because I've seen Isnid play that. That looks Doom
original
Doom
Doom?
looks intense, man.
Doom is insane. Isaac loved Doom Eternal, and like they had that they had like a pack that came out for
Peggy 18.
the Switch, and it's all of the Doom games.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
You can play them all, and so he got that, and he loved it. Got
I
to
started
replay
playing
them.
Doom Eternal, but I never finished it.
I still haven't beat the first one of that series, so I still need to play that before I play Eternal.
But these original graphics, I did play this. I remember this because I remember I had that gun, the one that blew out the purple sparkly thing.
Punching.
Oh, and this also reminds me, Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem was great. I love the one gun, the BFG 9000, and I remember like the Easter egg about it. Like everyone's like, "What? Like what does BFG stand for?" And the developers were like, "Big fucking gun."
Yeah.
Yup.
December 10th, 1993. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We're fucking old.
I was a year old.
Guys, I feel like a baby in this whole thing.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Abby, you were what, -10?
I was 5.
Actually, I was -6. I was born in 99.
I was just sitting there going, yeah, I'm going to graduate high school in 7 years. All right. And before we move out of that, I know, Cage, you've been playing more recently Dead Rising 3 with Whitney. Did you ever play the first Dead Rising?
I have played in some capacity all of the Dead Rising games. I playing with Whitney through Dead Rising 3 only twice. We've only gotten a chance to do it twice so far. Is the furthest I've ever gotten in them.
Well, to be honest, when I see you guys playing that, it's like you're kind of just like ambling around, occasionally killing zombies and not knowing where you're going. Kind
of, yeah. There's a lot to it. So like the original Dead Rising game, now they I want to say that they were kind of paying homage to Romero I think
Okay.
that's with Day of the Dead, where they're all like holed up in the mall.
Okay.
Because that's what has happened. You play a reporter who they know something's going on in this town, and like you get flown in because the town's like quarantined off. You get like flown in, and they drop you on the roof of the like big mall shopping center, and like you're confined to the mall, like Day of the Dead style. So, or Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, like it's intense, but there's a lot of stuff going on because you're timed. In your first playthrough of and I believe that's for all the games in the series. In your first playthrough of the game, you are timed. Like I believe the timer is going no matter what, like whichever mode you end up playing, whether you're playing unlimited mode or the regular story, but you have to be done at a certain point. And I think for the first game, you have to be done because that's when your ride is coming back to get you. Like, and if you don't meet your ride, you you lose the game over.
Right.
But yeah, it's there's a lot happening all at once, all around, and it's a lot of mindless zombie slaying. But you can pick up just about anything and use it as a weapon. You find a gun, great. You find a sword, great. You find a traffic cone, okay. What about a dolly? Right. Trash can, a stack of plates. Yeah, because it was made by Capcom. Capcom has hid Easter eggs in a few of the games where you can get. I know in Dead Rising 3 you can actually get Mega Man X from the Mega Man X series. You can get like his full armor and like a hand cannon too, so you can run around and just like blow things up with his hand cannon.
Nice.
Be careful saying Mega Man X, you'll summon Ben.
We want to summon Ben.
We haven't wished him happy birthday yet, so yeah.
Are you coming, Ben?
Right.
We have bits
Happy
for you.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Okay, let's take another short commercial break here, and then when we come back, we're going to start moving into the 2010s, because this is when Abbi was born in 2010. And
Hey, no.
no,
That's when I entered the horror scene.
but yeah,
Come on.
that's when you start to shine in these movies or these games.
This is where I get to start commenting on things.
Yes. Okay. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Okay, so as we start moving into the last 10 years, pretty much, and if we missed anything, I'm sure, let us know and we can touch upon it and comment if we have any experience or knowledge here. Mine is extremely limited. You all are the experts on this stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we've got a couple of different things here moving into the last 10 years plus. Is we've got horror games that have been following the more modern trend where you've got a single player storyline that you're attempting to move through this story, and they're trying to scare the shit out of you as much as possible as you're moving through it. And then we started to have the rise of massive multiplayer onlines. And some of those that we're more familiar with are like Get the Fuck Out, Phasmophobia, Dead by Daylight. Now more recently, Evil Dead, and even before that, Friday the 13th, The Forest. And there's a newer one coming out based on the Killer Clowns movie. So first, let's start with like single player storyline games. And I think this is where Abbi is going to shine, because this has been a lot of your repertoire even since a teenager, because it wasn't the game that you did on your episode of RCADE, The GamingAvengerz, The Last of Us?
Yes.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite games of all time.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it is.
Very,
100%.
very beautiful game.
And it's scary. Like, I mean, what was it? Naughty Dog, I think, was that company. They took the idea of zombies and they like flipped it on its head. They were like, they can't see you. They click. So when they're clicking, you know that they're around you, and you're like, that's fucking terrifying.
You know what?
It's like plant-based too. Like it's like some more of a spore infection because like that actually exists where plants can control bodies.
Yeah.
Like, and it happened in actual nature. So like they transformed it into like this potentially could actually be a real thing. Like they made it more plausible than just a random chemical reaction.
Right. It was so scary.
Okay, so
and they also combined it with like the third-person shooter aspect.
Yep.
Okay, so that was The Last of Us. We already pretty much covered that in your episode last season. So out of any of these other point and click where you have some shooting, but it's mostly decision making.
Yes.
Why don't you give me like a single title out of all the ones that you've played in that regard, and we can look up a trailer for that. Like one of the best ones, or
the choice-based ones.
Yeah.
I would say. So I could just be an asshole and say my favorite, but I'm actually gonna say the one that like really, really kickstarted that genre, which was Until Dawn.
Okay, let's look that up real quick here.
That was a very like introductory to the, your choices actually matter, and it was Until Dawn was phenomenal.
For anyone who doesn't know, Abby is obsessed with a character named Jason in House of Ashes.
We'll have to do that just in case, just so we can see Jason's sweet ass.
Yes.
Your fate and the fate of those around you.
We need to go get help now.
Could you live with the consequences?
Boy, you even got the movie voiceover trailer guy.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying, bone chilling.
This just reminds me that I need to actually play this. So
you should, and you should let me know when you're playing it so that I can watch you play it.
Exclusively on PS4.
And this was like
downloaded.
That was super massive. The company that's made like all of these, like the point and click choices matter horror games. This was their first title, or one of them. One of their
What's
first,
the one
like,
with Jason?
House of Ashes.
House of Ashes, Jason.
Acid. Fucking everyone is just
House of Jason's Ash.
Jason's on the title, man. He's the main picture. You get an ad.
I got an ad. I watched too many videos. I gotta pay for that. Here we go.
Abby, out of the list, what one was your favorite that you picked Until Dawn instead of? What one was your favorite that you were gonna say?
Probably this one.
Has awoken from its slumber and is hungry for blood.
Blood.
Now we see how many have fallen into shadow.
And there's multiple House of Ashes, right?
There's
or
multiple.
is it just Dark Picture?
The Dark Pictures. There's 3 of them. The 4th one comes out in a month.
Oh, okay. Those are on my list too. I've not played them.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. I love them.
So far, I've played Until Dawn and Man of Medan, which is the first. Man of Medan is the first of the Dark Pictures games. The new one actually deals with being in the infamous murder hotel of H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be real interesting, I think.
I'm really excited for that one.
Me and Short and Sweet just need to get on the ball, and we own all 3 of the Dark Pictures games. And like I said, we've played Man of Medan on stream. We need to get through House of Ashes and
like
whatever the other one is.
as the games progress through the series, like just looking at like Man of Medan, House of Ash, or Man of Medan, I don't know how you say it properly. Little Hope and House of Ashes. the controls gradually get better, and like the camera angles, and they are improving. But then the almost like the scares, I guess. The setting gets less scary as the games go on. Because, like, in Man of Medan, you are paranoid like nobody's business. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's happening? What's coming at me? By the halfway point in House of Ashes, you're like, I know exactly what these things are. I know exactly what's going on. My characters have guns. I'm fine. So it's not scary. It's just very, like, you're on the edge of your seat because it feels almost more like a thriller than a horror. Like, it's interesting, but like they just made The Quarry, which is one that just came out a few months ago.
That's the same company?
Yep, The Quarry is the like spiritual successor to Until Dawn.
Now I saw quite a bit of The Quarry when I think Whitney was playing it, and it looks really good. This is what I'm saying, is that if I'm going to play modern games, I believe I have honed into this particular genre where it doesn't necessarily you don't necessarily have to be good at typical video game play to be able to beat it. This is more about the choices that you make and then dealing with those consequences as you go on through the game. And I think that appeals far more to me as a person to get into more modern gaming.
And that kind of story appeals way more to me as well. Like I've replayed House of Ashes so many times. I've replayed Until Dawn.
Now, let's be honest. The only reason that you've played House of Ashes so many times is because you can't get enough of that sweet Jason ass.
You're right, and the accent. He's a sweet Southern man. I can't deny it.
Sweet Southern man.
All right.
Poor Isaac.
Poor Isaac.
It's okay. He knows that I choose him over Jason any day.
Yeah. Do you know the name of the next one that's coming out? It's
The Devil in Me.
The Devil in Me. Let's look that one up real quick.
And they did confirm when The Devil in Me was announced. So it was supposed to be the last part of the Dark Pictures anthology. They changed the way they put it to this is the last part of the first season of the Dark Pictures anthology.
And they've announced, the only thing they've announced for season 2 is all the titles. So we don't know what they're going to be about.
Oh, I didn't even know they actually announced the titles yet. So
all of the titles are like public knowledge now.
Lorna Entertainment.
Charles
And it's
hello.
Speaking.
One of them I think is a sequel kind of to Man of Medan.
I'm in a privileged
Man of Medan, was that the one that was underwater?
He's rich.
On a boat.
Yeah.
Totally sane, I'm sure.
Because I saw Rob playing.
Some of the rooms are full recreations from the murder castle.
Guys, is that you?
There's a ton of killer footage to be had here.
My time is at a preview. We need to do this.
It's Clue, but real life.
Kind of, yeah.
There's Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench.
Yeah.
Are you shooting any of this? No one is going to believe it without proof.
okay, guys. I see what you're saying here. They trademarked the six titles.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a fucking booby trap.
I've told you what
Bye.
Like, this is one that there's no way I will be able to get Ben to play this. Because Ben will be like, it's way too gory. Nope.
sending the car or not?
That's the whole point of
Yeah,
game.
I think you might want to put a button in trying to get Ben to play these games, because
he's playing House of Ashes right now.
He was not happy the other night.
Oh my gosh. No, he hated it. He hated it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have to finish it. And he's like, no, I gotta finish it. I'm like, you really don't, bud.
So the guy in the trailer on the top right, I noticed him in that other one. Is he like the storyteller for all of them then?
Yes. He's the curator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
And
now
there was a different one for Until Dawn. It was actually played by Peter Stormare. And then The Quarry has a woman that's like the narrator.
so I want
He's been in all the Dark Pictures games.
I want to comment on that briefly here because I've never played any of these games, but I've watched several of you play them. I never knew.
I've only played it on stream 3 times. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. I never knew that it became a thing with these modern games to hire an actor and not only have them voice act all of the parts in the game, but then model the character that you see on screen after that actor. And I didn't realize this until Whitney was playing The Quarry, and I'm looking at this character, the old woman that plays, and I can't remember her name offhand, but she plays the storyteller, and I'm going, she looks so much like this one actress that I know, and I started looking it up to figure out who it was. Oh, and she also voiced her in the game itself. Oh, and then it all clicked that they're actually modeling the characters after the actor, and I'm like, I never knew that, and to me that is so unbelievably cool because it almost seems like they're making. And obviously that's part of the appeal of these games is they're building a movie-like story into the gameplay.
Right.
But the actual aspect of actually getting characters that look like the actors who are playing them, so you almost get an authentic experience of like seeing that actor on screen.
Right.
Yeah. They've done that with a lot of the Call of Duty games. Like over the last like 10 years, they're like the commander is always like a really like you know who it is. Like he looks just like him. And then Tuba played Death Stranding, and that's the guy from The Walking Dead, Daryl.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, Norman Reedus.
Reedus.
Yeah, and that's the same thing too, where
And
he looks just like him.
Quantic Dream did that too with like Heavy Rain. That one doesn't have a lot of big name actors, but like Beyond Two Souls, the game that came right after that, that had at the time Ellen Page, now Elliot Page.
Yes. Yes.
And like that's all motion capture.
Yeah. But to me, that's amazing. I never knew that until recently, that's what these game developers were actually going for now. And
it's kind of interesting.
I think it really adds a lot to the value of the game itself.
Right.
Yeah.
In the Dark Pictures, actually, so if you look at like all 3 of the games that are out right now, you will see the same face over and over again. In like Jason's face. He's in the game called Hidden Agenda. He's in Man of Medan. He's the tutorial character. And then he's Jason in House of Ashes. And they all have different voice actors, but it's all face modeled by Jack Green. So the Dark Anthology Pictures does that a little different. Like they have a voice actor and then they have a face model. And they're two different people.
Okay, so briefly, Abby, tell me about what because this is definitely your genre. What is a gameplay experience like on these games throughout, like all of the ones that you've played? What are the consistencies in the gameplay experience?
I feel like for me, when I play these games, it's really, it's more of a, you know, you have to like stop and you have to like, I think there's so many moments where like when I'm playing it for the first time, I pause the game and I'm like, okay, hang on, I need to think about this. I can't just be like, I want to do this, because I have to think, how is this going to affect other characters? How is this going to affect the story? How is it? You have to like really, really think about it. And like and then you make a choice. And half the time you're like, did I mess up? Did I make the right choice? What's going on? Did I do okay? And so it definitely creates that like that feeling of like you're very unsure of yourself and you're very unsure of your own choices, where a lot of the games that we were talking about before, you know exactly what you need to do. You know, you point the gun, you shoot. That's, you know, that's how you have to do it. But like in House of Ashes, even there's a couple moments where you're like, oh my gosh, QTEs, I need to do this. There's a button, I'm supposed to be button mashing. You start button mashing, and if you're not paying attention, you can kill a character because you succeeded a QTE.
Mm.
And so you have to like really like, it's something where it's like you can't like half pay attention. You have to like, your full focus has to be on it, because otherwise you have no idea like
what you're
if
about to do.
Exactly.
So
And like,
so it almost seems like in these Choices Matter games, they've almost combined the logistics of a puzzle game and the what was I thinking of there? I kind of lost my train of thought, but it seems like they're trying to force. Oh, I was thinking of what's the stories where you choose your own ending? Choose your own ending stories. It seems like they've combined that with a puzzle game.
they have, and I think the Devil in Me is actually going to do that a lot more.
Then becomes a logistical nightmare as you begin to second guess everything that you're trying to decide in the game. Interesting.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but it's also really, really cool. And that's why I really like, that's why I've played this game so many times, is because I played it once. They have a feature where it's an online feature called Shared Story, where you can play with one other person online. And I played with my friend, and we were like making choices separately as separate characters. And I mean, I had played the game 15, 16 times by that point, and we still got a different ending.
Well, and anybody that knows Choose Your Own Adventure stories, you know that you have to go back and do the story again and choose something different.
100%.
Yep.
That's why I like these games so much. Is I think it was Isnib's chat where I brought it up, because somebody was like, "Why do you like these games so much?" And my reason was, you know, when you're watching a movie and you know this character, like you've seen the movie 100 times, you know exactly, you hate the way that this character responds to something, and you're like, "Oh God, I wish I could change the ending." In these, you can go back and you can change the ending.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you also real quick about the spook factor. How have these games scared you personally?
So like,
or are you dead
really
inside and it doesn't scare you at all?
No, they definitely scared me. Like, the thing with, like, especially with these like dark anthology ones, they're all scary in their own way. Like, Man of Medan was very jump scare heavy.
Okay.
Little Hope was very just like, you're just really unsettled for most of the game. You're like, I don't know what's happening, what's going on, something's gonna jump out and kill me.
It's a psychological horror.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of jump scares in Little Hope too. In fact, I think there's almost more jump scares in Little Hope than there's Man of Medan. But I would definitely consider Man of Medan way more jump scare type horror. And then this game, the House of Ashes, was just very like I'm on edge. Like, I don't know when they're gonna come at me. I know that I can defend myself, and I'll probably be okay. I probably have fast enough reaction times if they throw a QT at me at random. But, like, you don't know. It was just very, like...
Until you go through the game 200 times, choosing all the different options, and you know where they all are.
Exactly. I mean, even after, like, that third or fourth playthrough, you know when the scares are coming, and so then it's not... Then it's less of a, I'm scared of the monsters, and it's more so, and this goes for all the games, I'm scared that I'm gonna make the wrong choice and kill a character. So it's, like, almost more of an anxiety by that point. Because, I mean, some of the things is you make choices, and then it's a, okay, cool, here's your choice coming to bite you in the ass. You can do literally nothing. You can't do anything about it. Your choice was made 3 chapters ago. You can't change it.
You done fucked.
Unless you go back to that chapter and replay all of it again.
Right. Very interesting, and yeah, I'm sure that also makes for hours and hours and gobs of hours of gameplay experience too,
100%.
going back and seeing what you did and what you can change.
Right. A lot of times you can Google it too, which is kind of nice. But...
Right. Okay.
Yeah, The Devil in Me is going to be interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And like I said, if I start getting more into the modern gaming, and I think I will over time, it's just going to be a long journey for me to do that. I think this is definitely going to be well represented in what I do because I do really enjoy hearing the storylines and I think it's a much easier entry into modern gaming to do something like that that's more of a point and click or choices matter.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now let's switch over to MMOs, and we're going to start with Dead by Daylight. Rage, you are the resident expert here. So let's see a trailer. Excuse me. Let's see a trailer first, and then we will go. Yeah, see, all of these are kind of like based on individual killers. Let's see if we haven't.
Oh yeah, they have trailers for like
Who's your
all
favorite
the
killer,
killers.
Rage? Who's your favorite killer? Do that one.
Oh, I mean, my favorite killer is Legion.
Oh, Legion. I hate when Isaac plays Legion.
I love playing as Legion when I play killer. I usually play
Here we go.
Survivor.
Hey, the people of Discovery Channel.
And an ad. Don't listen. Don't buy a thing. We don't sell anything on this channel. Here we go.
I'm so used to this because it's the default intro for the game.
Yeah. Oh no, Rage, no.
Dum, 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 dum.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Splat. Yeah. Good old Gorefest.
Yeah, except it doesn't look like that in the game.
No, it doesn't.
That's just usually how I am. Like when we're watching horror movies. Yeah, I'm totally the guy rooting to like. Yeah, you stab those sex crazed teenagers.
Yeah, get 'em.
Goddamn kids, quit boning on my lawn.
Okay, so that was June of 2017. So we're going on 5+ years now. So how long have you been playing at Rage?
About 2 years.
2 years, and you said your favorite character was Legion, not Legion Cage. Legion.
Yes, Legion Cage.
Legion. I actually, funny enough, Raven pointed out, I do have a Legion mask. I wore it for Halloween last year.
There you go.
I have bought a fake knife and everything for a costume.
So I've watched you and several other players play this enough to know that you basically have 4 or up to 4 people that are running for their lives, basically trying to escape. You've got one killer who's stalking those 4. The killer has to grab them or knock them down with whatever power it has, place them on a hook, and they may or may not get off of that hook, but if they get off, then you got to rehook them and eventually try to kill everybody that's running away. On the victim's perspective, you are hitting generators to get power to the place and then hit the gate to get out, and there's some things with totems and some other stuff like that. So anything I missed in the gameplay, and why don't you tell us about some of your experiences with Dead by Daylight?
I mean, you pretty much covered it there. You know, you have to work on the generators to be able to get out. It's the primary mechanic of the game is, outside of trying to not die from the killer, you have to work on the generators to fix them. Basically, hold down a button. They throw up a skill check every once in a while to make sure you're paying attention, make it a little bit more challenging than just standing on it. And then, of course, as you mentioned, they have the totems where, for the longest time, the killers had hex totems where they could do different things. For example, they have one called like the third seal, where if the killer hits you, you're blind. You can't see any auras. You can't see anything. Like, you can't see somebody on the hook to go get them. You have to figure. They have to like describe, "Hey, I'm over here." If you're playing without your friends in voice comm and you're playing in game, you just gotta hope you can find them or hope somebody else gets them. And then if you break that totem, then that you can see things like that again. It's personally recently I've kind of fallen away from the game a little bit. Some of the newer updates, some of the newer people coming in after the Epic Store update has kind of pushed me away from the game a little bit. But because unfortunately there was a lot of people who when it went to Epic Store, it was free when it first came out, so all the hackers from the Epic Store got to get into the game. So you have a lot of that now, where people are like, there's killers going into games, and I'm sure some people have seen on TikTok where the gens are done as soon as the game starts because of hackers in the game. So
Right.
That's not a game. That's cheating. So one of our other people, Malegio, who was potentially going to be a guest, and he had an emergency and wasn't able to make it. He has also played Dead by Daylight quite a bit, quite extensively, especially as a killer. And the way you hear Malegio talk about Dead by Daylight, he knows his stuff down to a T, talking about the logistics of what you are doing as a killer and how to beat the game like that. And that was his main gripe, and why he hasn't played it in a while is because you're very liable to just get a group of, or even one hacker in your victim group that is just going to ruin the game for you. And has the creator of Dead by Daylight done anything to try to curtail this?
I think they're trying to. It's hard to tell. I've honestly stopped paying attention a lot to the news of the game. I know that they have like an anti-cheat in place, and they do have. I mean, when the people get reported, they do work on banning them. So the biggest issue is when they brought it to the Epic Store is when you started seeing all that come up, because the Epic Store doesn't do as good of a job at preventing hackers from getting into games. And
gotcha.
Right. And like they're pretty good at, I've noticed that when I've been playing lately, I don't play online like with randoms. I only play with my friends. If I don't have if there's only 3 or 4 of us, we don't play online because it just
If it wasn't
sweaty hackers.
If it wasn't for the hackers, do you think you'd still be playing it more actively?
Probably. The other part of it is recently some of the other changes. They've been trying to make the game more balanced on both sides for killers and survivors, because of course the killers have the advantage of, they have obviously need some kind of advantage to be able to take on 4 people at once. So they have to have something available to them to be able to go through and take on 4 people, because obviously you can't hook 4 people at once because you can only carry 1 person at a time.
Right.
But
and
one of the issues
that stuff where they can like knock them free from you or whatever.
Yeah, so they've been trying to work on balance. One of the issues that I've encountered is with some of the influx of newer people resort to the strategy that I personally shouldn't think is a legitimate strategy. Behavior thinks it's a legitimate strategy of basically chasing down the same person repeatedly and then standing next to the hook and just waiting for people to come get them so that they can chase them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tunneling.
Yeah, the tunneling.
And then the puppy guarding.
Yeah,
like
the tunneling and the camping at the hook, where it's like they say, well, just pitch your tent and just start your fire because we're going to be here for a while until I die on this hook.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly switch over to Devour. Cage has to go here in about 10 plus minutes, so we're going to wrap things up, but there's a couple more things I want to hit first.
I don't think I've ever heard of this game.
Oh, this one's fun.
Hey, I have this game downloaded, but I've never played it because this is one kind of like you need to play with friends.
Oh yeah, you need to have a team for it.
Oh,
I mean, they do have a solo mode.
Lamb chops.
So like, yeah.
Okay,
if there's a group of people who have this, I'll play this with them.
Dude, I will buy this game just to play it with friends. Oh my god.
This game is so much fun.
I think I saw Markiplier playing
Oh my god, I hate it. Oh. I did. I saw Markiplier play this.
Yep, same. I saw him play it. I think that's why I downloaded it. But then no one else owns it, and then I just have it in my storage.
Oh my gosh, I hate it. Oh, but I also am intrigued.
It is so much fun.
Oh my god.
Now that's
Okay.
that's also an MMO, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
so this one's a little bit different than DBD. So unlike DBD, there nobody plays the demon there. It's just you work together to exercise the demon.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, this one's good. I like this one a lot. The
And-
jump scares are they're fantastic. If you're not paying attention, they will get you.
This one, I believe, also one of the modes is, or one of the demons turns you into a plastic baby doll, right? That's this one?
Sorry, what?
No.
Oh, thank God.
What's that one?
I'm not sure. So this one, each one has its different demons. With so like the farmhouse, which is the very first level that they created, just has these little demons that are crawling on the ground. They're not demon, not little. They're rather large, but they're crawling, so they're easier to miss because they're so low to the ground. The second one you have, basically it's in an asylum, so you have asylum patients in wheelchairs wheeling around trying to get you.
That's not scary at all.
No. And in the end, you have spiders coming after you.
Gross.
And then in the town, they have, we call them Dementors because that's what they make us think of. But they're spirits that can fly through, like they can fly through walls and stuff. So you could be in a room doing something, and next thing you know, they're right behind you because they went through the wall.
Cage.
Devour is $5 on Steam right now.
There you go.
Abby, you did this. You did the same thing I was doing. I was like, "What? How much is this game? Is this like cheap? Because I kind of want it." Like,
right?
There you go.
It's so messed up.
It's only a $5. Cage, I wanted to ask you real quick. In these two styles, or this style of MMO, how do you see Friday the 13th, a newer version, comparing? Because I know that's been the game you played quite a bit.
Okay, so like the MMO version of Friday the 13th is still like one of my favorite games to play. It's just like you can't find anyone to play it, like because the hacking, they've stopped supporting it due to lawsuit.
Right.
So the hacking is pretty awful. So you kind of need a full group to play it, and play it like in a private lobby. I have honestly not touched any of these other games. I did download Dead by Daylight because it was free through PlayStation Plus at one point. I started like going through the process of like setting up a character, planned on playing it. Literally actually had it booted up. I was going to play with like Maleggio and G-Ray and Doom one night, and then something happened and I had to go. There was an emergency with Short and Sweet breaking her ankle. But you know, I still haven't actually played it, so I have literally no comparison. I just know that I love the Friday the 13th game, as glitchy as it can be, as messed up as it is, like, and as bad as the servers were when they actually were supporting it. It was just a fun game to play, honestly.
Okay, so you four online on the screen right now, I'm going to recommend that you all connect with each other here, because I think you're all, from your reactions into this, and you really want to try to put some games together. I know Rage does this all the time, but
Joke's on you. I already sent Rage a friend request.
there you go. There you go. Okay, and I'll also mention here just briefly Evil Dead that came out. We're not going to do a trailer for that, but that, my God, I mean, if you've seen the movies, you know how absolutely horrific the gore is, and all of that was inserted into the Evil Dead game. Okay,
100%.
So just if that's your bag, go get that game immediately, because it is all there. All of the blood, all of the gore, all of the disgusting. It's, yeah. And The Forest. Now, I've seen Markiplier play The Forest with his friends, and that seems to take this concept where you have a unified enemy and you're all trying to handle that, but also builds it into a collector builder type sandbox game where you go out, you chop the wood, you build your fort, you collect your meats to survive and all of that, and then at night you have to fight off these creatures that come at you.
The cannibals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cannibal.
And
It also
basically-
incorporates a story element too.
Yes.
There's an actual storyline to the game.
Yes.
But you have to explore enough to find the story.
Wow.
Right.
All I know is that there's somewhere in the game a gigantic cliff.
Oh yeah.
And that Markiplier's friend tried running down the side of the cliff. And it didn't work.
I did that once.
That was great.
It did not work.
Okay, let's see if there's any other things we get. We definitely have to hit on Five Nights at Freddy's. Cage, if you want to go ahead, and I'll just like block you out here on
I'm okay
screen.
for the moment.
Okay. He's gonna take off. If the rest of you are okay with staying a little bit longer, I do have some other things I want to hit here.
I don't have to go anywhere for a half hour.
Okay, good. Let's do Five Nights at Freddy's, because this I've never played. I don't want to say that. I played the first one. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I died with Foxy within like 30 seconds, and it just, it wasn't a good. And I still am not, into that sort of thing either. I might at some point try to play this again now, because the reason is I love the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's so much so
The lore is so good.
So much so that I bought the novels that Scott Cawthon wrote.
You want the books? I'm so proud of you.
5 of them. I bought all of them. At least 5 right now. So let's look at the original trailer. Let's see what we got here.
I think it's the top one.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was short.
So I'll be honest, I haven't touched any of the Five Nights at Freddy's up until recently.
No ads! Don't buy anything! We're not selling anything here. Don't buy shit. Okay, there we go.
For the longest time, I actually had no intention of ever playing them, but the more I see them, the more I want to try them out.
So I haven't finished. I've made it to night 5 on the first game, and I don't want to play the other ones until I've like actually successfully beaten them. But like the lore, I don't have the books, but the lore of everything is so good. I watched the movie that they made out of it. It wasn't like in the theaters or anything. It was just a YouTube movie, but it was still good.
That was a fan-made trailer or a fan-made movie that they just based off of gameplay video. So the movie is coming out. It is finally in production now. Scott Cawthon signed off on a script, and Jason Blumhouse Blumhouse Productions is producing it. It's supposed to be coming out summer or fall next year.
I refuse to watch it unless Markiplier's in it.
he might very well be. You never know. He might have a cameo.
I hope
if
so.
you if you want to see the best of the Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay, Markiplier has a playlist. He has done every single one to completion, including the ones where 2050 mode. Where you're literally fighting 50 of these animatronics at the same time.
He never finished Custom Night. He never
did?
Night.
Okay.
No.
You guys know that he was in the musical?
He was. It was so good.
With Nate Wants to Battle, and I don't know who the other one was.
But I mean, the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's so captured me, and the reason why is because my mom took us to Chuck E. Cheese and Mark's Fun Time Theater all the time as a kid. And my big thing was sitting there watching those stupid animatronics go,
yeah, do their little dance.
Nope. Not
anymore. Did you notice that as soon as those games came out and like got popular, Chuck E. Cheese just vanished off the face of the earth?
Yeah, they literally got rid of their animatronics and went all digital. But
they should have.
If I had $1 million, I would be opening a Five Nights at Freddy's horror theme park with real animatronics now.
Well, that's what Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was about.
Yeah.
Is they opened a horror section, like a horror tour thing. And they found one of the animatronics.
Yep. So, yes, there are multiple games in the Five Nights at Freddy's series, and it has, I mean, it's blown up so much because of what, are you going night-night, Cage?
It's just gone. Cage's like, peace out, homie.
Yeah. Hold on, here's what I'm going to do this.
He blocked himself out.
Yeah, he's just like, bye, suckers! Okay, there we go.
He didn't even say anything.
Yeah, no, he told me he had to leave at 7, so he's fine. All right, so the last thing I want to touch on before we start to close out here is some of the newer stuff that's coming, except for one thing that has already come out. So we're going to look at Slender, The Arrival.
That was like me and my friend like sat in my house. My parents like went out for the night, and so it was just me and her. We were in my kitchen on her laptop, turned all the lights off, and I was like, you are playing this, I'm gonna watch. And we did that, and it took us like 4 hours, but she beat the game without dying.
Right.
That's impressive.
It was super impressive.
Slender Man.
I love that this was all based off of a creepypasta.
Yeah.
Right? Back as my cousin Kayla, you've seen her on stream with me a few times. Her best friend believes in Slender Man and is terrified of him.
Oh my gosh.
This game was so simple but so great.
My introduction to horror was like Slender the 8 pages, like the one that you just opened on the website and on like online, and you didn't download anything, you just played it on a browser.
Right.
This looks good. I haven't seen this trailer.
It was so good. It was terrifying though.
Well, the 8 pages, that one I've played.
Right. Oh, they're re-releasing it on... Is that on PS4 now?
This is an actual... This isn't the 8 pages. This is like an actual full game.
Yeah, this is the one that I played with my friend. On computer.
Oh, yeah, that's as of 2015. Damn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was on the PlayStation at all. I just thought
Yeah.
it was on the PC.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, and then I want to look at the Callisto Protocol. These are some upcoming games.
Oh, while you're typing this in, have any of you guys played Fears to Fathom?
No.
Sounds familiar.
So it's like all like based off of like Reddit like stories, like horror stories of like this, here's what happened to me. And it's a game, and it's like PS2 graphics. And
wasn't that
terrifying.
like the first one? You're up in your bedroom, and then there's a guy.
Yes!
Yeah, I saw Markiplier play that. It looks pretty good. Like it's supposed to be every story touches on a specific type of phobia.
Yes, and like and then there's like another company that's really similar. It's like Chilla's Art, where she made one where it's called The Night Shift, where you work nights at a coffee shop.
Yep,
I know Jack and Mark both play that one too. And like
that one, I thought that one was, because I've seen The Night Shift. That's the coffee shop one, or is that no? The other one's the gas station. So the coffee shop one, where the guy just walks in and then he's just like starts getting down, and they're like, what? Just why?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, that was The Night Shift. And the graphics from The Night Shift are really similar to Fears to Fathom. And Fears to Fathom is terrifying.
Okay, here's the Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, this one just looks very similar to Dead Space.
Yeah.
But like it looks so good.
Already looks painful.
Also, main character is kind of Daddy Bay.
Abby's like, no, I already got Jason. Too much.
I do. I've got Jason already. So sorry.
Yeah, but this is a whole different game. You can still fuck him.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Isaac, I want you to know, MrWrong just gave me permission to fuck a game character. You take it up with MrWrong now.
I'm literally gonna be doing Smash or Pass with Pokemon later, so like I got that going for me.
I'm sorry. When are you doing this? And I want to be there to see it.
That'll be tonight.
Hey guys, there's a trailer on, you know.
Along with the rest of Cliff.
No, you're fine. But yeah, that
So sorry.
man, you gotta watch that entry into the game world.
They didn't have a clue.
God, this game just looks so phenomenal.
It looks gorgeous.
Like that little reminded me of Prey, which I've never even played, but like
They're evolving.
Oh, Prey was so
Ooh,
Ooh.
nasty.
Yeah.
Oh no! Ouch!
There's a pattern.
Nope, don't like the wall thing.
Jacob, not anymore.
What's it about?
Answers.
In your mouth. That-
Get wrecked.
The truth of Black Island.
I'm
This
ready.
makes me think of like, just with what I'm seeing from the trailer, it kind of makes me think of Get the Fuck Out.
Kinda.
I'm sorry, Scotty, on your search that only we can see, because they can only see the trailer, does Markiplier have a video called I Started an OnlyFans?
Yes, he does. It was from like 30 minutes ago. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh boy, here we go with the thirst. Let's see. Layers of Fears. I wanted to touch on this one.
If you're a homeowner,
No ads. Don't buy a damn thing. We're not selling anything on this channel. Bye. Okay, here we go.
16.
In this quiet house, between bookshelves
We make
and rows
pancakes.
of paintings, lives an artist.
This is another one I need to play.
I have vivid
Something
memories
happened.
of being scared shitless watching Markiplier play this right when it came out.
So frightening.
No, this is the
It all
remake.
looks like the first game.
Yeah, this isn't the new one.
Oh, maybe I grabbed the wrong one then.
Profoundly.
This is
Okay,
the
I was like,
original.
this is all the first game.
Hold on a
which
second. Let me.
is amazing.
Oh,
let
100%.
me see if we can find the new one.
Right there.
4 months ago. That's what I just clicked on. Yeah, trailer 2022. Unless I clicked on the one below it.
I think you clicked on the
I
one
think
below
you
it.
must have,
I
because
don't
that
know.
one didn't have a red line.
Yeah, there
showing
we go.
that.
Insanity runs in our family. Let it run.
Okay, so the painting. Okay. I have yet to play the second game, so I still need to do that before this one comes out.
Mm-hmm.
To play them both.
And the DLC from the first one, where you follow the daughter's thing.
That's a lot of chains.
Yeah.
Was pinned
Oh.
in there.
Buy piano.
They say it's a tale of sadness and guilt of an
Are
artist.
we actually going to see the character?
Place beyond redemption. It's a lie. This is a story of my fear, pain, and hatred, of the horror of my loneliness. And it is mine to tell.
Psychedelic.
I
Uh-oh.
see it. All this misery, all this suffering. There was no other way.
Shouldn't have. You really
You shouldn't have.
Oh my gosh, that looks
Looks
terrifyingly
gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Dude, those guys were jamming. Did you see them?
Yeah. They're having a good time.
I mean, psychedelics.
Yeah. True.
I was trapped
Oh.
in this house, bound by this body. Now, I break free.
That looked really good.
The
does look
graphics
really
are gorgeous.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Any others that we should look up here before we get
The
out?
mortuary assistant.
Oh yes, that one.
I remember
This
you brought that
is
one up. That's why.
this has come out already a little while ago, but I have not seen any gameplay, even though a couple in our community have played it. No ads! Don't buy a damn thing! We're not selling anything on the channel. Shut up! Bye. Thank you. Good night.
We just got 3 new cadavers, and no one else can make it in right now. I was hoping you could come in and take care of them.
Yeah, take care of them, man.
Take care of him. Oh, I've never watched the trailer for this. I've just watched people play it.
Yeah, no. I've only seen Markiplier do the demo.
Yeah.
I
Oh god, I hate that one.
Oh,
I
don't like
hate that one. I hate that.
Oh god.
Look at me!
Oh god. Ooh.
Look
We
at
know.
this pitiful flesh I am service to. But this body is no longer mine. I have my price.
That's terrifying.
Damn. So have any of you seen the movie Jane Doe?
Yes.
Have not. No.
If that mortuary assistant looks scary as shit to you, watch the movie Jane Doe. It's one of my favorite horror movies now because it goes through that exact same thing. Obviously, it's a different storyline. This, from what I can see and what I've heard of the storyline in Mortuary Assistant, obviously there's some supernatural elements that you're having to deal with, but it's like part of the gameplay that you actually have to disposition what's going on with the supernatural in the mortuary as you're conducting the autopsy.
Right.
And Jane Doe has a completely different storyline from that, but it hits on all of those elements, the creep factor, the body horror, the supernatural elements, and all of that. So I highly recommend that movie.
Yeah.
And I do want to spend some more time watching some gameplay on this. Some of the people like Markiplier that have played this and anybody else. All right. Anything else that I'm forgetting? Or something else that you guys had in mind?
Mr. Wrong, what's your favorite horror game of all time so we can talk about it for a few minutes?
I wouldn't say it's, I mean, for what's on the list,
anything.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite of all time, but I would say it's probably the scariest game that I've ever played, which was just Outlast, the first one.
Oh! Outlast it all!
Because that game, like, the second one's shit. Like, I mean, let me tell you, it's bad. But the first one is like on point with fear factor, jump scares. Like,
yeah,
they got all of it. And like,
didn't it win Game of the Year the year it came out, or the horror game of the year?
Yeah, horror game of the year.
Here,
and like,
look at that
it was just
good.
And like the actual horror aspect of the entire game, you just keep trying to survive, and like you don't know what's gonna happen. It's like when you're playing it through it the first time, like you can't anticipate, and you don't get to attack back. You can only run and record. That is it.
Yeah, it's so scary.
It's good.
I'm excited. I didn't even know about the Outlast Chronicles or anything that was coming out like that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's gonna take. So that takes place. That's gonna be taking place during the Cold War, like during the actual experiments and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're going back to like more of the story of the first one.
Yeah, like how it started, like before it got shut down.
Oh, okay. I prefer that.
And then with it being multiplayer, all 4 of you can get fucking scared at the same time.
Oh, good. Great.
Exactly.
This game actually was like just absolutely terrifying. Isaac has played this game so many times, it's hilarious. He found a glitch that can teleport him like when you exit the vent for the first time, like you climb up that vent and you get out.
Yeah.
Like there's like a glitch where it can teleport you right to the bottom, like the last floor where you're by the wall rider and everything.
Oh, really?
I would have to double check with him about it.
You could just finish
outlet
the
glitch.
game instantly.
Oh, that dead body looks comfortable.
Yeah.
Looks very comfortable. I made the mistake of streaming this and then also adding jump scare alerts.
Honestly,
I was
you
not
wouldn't even
there
need
to-
the jump scare alerts.
I was not there to activate your jump scares for you.
One of my mods had fun hitting me with the realistic knocks because they were like perfectly timed. I was always near a door.
This game managed to like, and even like the DLC, like that whistleblower that they did, managed to just be absolutely terrifying.
With like using the camcorder to see into the dark, like, and you don't know, and like you have to hide under shit. Like that was one thing that always got me, because like when it comes to real life like movies and like actual jump scare stuff, like I'm fine. Like you won't see me react much. However, with video game, I don't know why, but like they get me so much more intensely because I think it's more I'm just so focused on it.
Yeah.
I was watching someone else play a game yesterday, and I fucking threw my phone because I wasn't ready for it. Like I wasn't even playing.
Well, I
But
mean,
this-
you definitely can get that intensive experience where you're, immersed in this game, especially if you've got the headphones on, you're zoned
Yeah.
in, the screen is right in your field of vision, and you can't see much
Oh,
else.
just imagine if this was in VR though.
Oh yeah.
You can play it in VR.
Yeah.
You can.
You can't. Oh, that'd be amazing. I need a VR.
so
All right, that's our
It's
next rage
scary.
stream.
It's scary.
Well, did they make this one into VR?
I remember putting it on my VR headset on my PlayStation.
I was gonna say, I know that they had made a different horror game into VR. I'm like, nope, that's a fucking nope for me, pal.
They just recently made Devour VR enabled.
Oh,
When I get a headset, I'm gonna have to try that out and scare myself even more.
God, I think if I played,
I'm gonna get jump scared right here during the trailer. I can tell. I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh, okay. Yep. Do you know how long it's been since I watched the trailer for this game?
I've never watched.
God.
Oh no, I did watch the trailer. I watched it once before I decided to stream it.
Oh.
I never had seen the trailer. I'd only heard like such good things about it, so I was like, fuck it, I'll download it. And then I downloaded it on the PS3, and I never made it through the game because I still wasn't really good with horror games because like I'm a little bitch. So like I wasn't okay. But like when I started streaming horror games, I'm like, now I have to complete this.
I can't do horror games on the computer. I have to have a controller because my hands shake too bad. And then I like there was one time I was playing this game and my friend was like, no, you have to try it. Come on, just try it. And so I was like, fine. And I got a hold of the mouse and I was walking through like the sewer area in this game where you've got to deal with
Fuck yeah.
little piggy whatever guy, Chris Walker. And I heard him behind me, jump scared me, and I flipped around. I was trying to run, and my hands were shaking so bad that I literally turned complete 360 and ran into him while trying to run away from him.
That's where you have to go up the stairs and jump onto the ladder, right?
Probably, I think so.
I remember doing that, and I don't know why, but my character wouldn't jump to the ladder. He just kept falling off. I'm like, no, stop, no, please.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
Rage, can you put your Trovo link in the chat? Because I'm a dumbass and I don't remember what it is. So I put all of our people in there. Legion Cage, MrWrong, Abbi from TheGamingAvengerz, and there's the link for RagefulRiotOG. He's on Trovo. And yeah, go check these people out. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Our next podcast episode is going to be, if I can remember what the fuck I'm doing here.
Mood. So that.
Where the hell did I put that? Oh, there it is. Sunday, November 13th. And our guest is going to be Sleight of Game presenting Metal Gear Solid. So if you're listening on the audio version of the podcast and you want to check out the live broadcast where we record it before we send it out over the interwebs into your favorite podcast media, you can check out the live broadcast then. Again, it is Sunday, November 13th, probably going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern, but check the website for the schedule, and that's ebc2021.com. So thank you, everybody, for joining me, and we'll catch you next time on Arcade Nostalgia Memories Podcast. Okay, for everybody still here on Twitch, thank you for joining us. Cage is going to be kicking his rear end because he left early, and he's going to miss an exclusive thing that is happening right here on the EBC channel just for the people that are with me and the people in chat. Exclusive thing that you won't be able to see because everybody else, it'll drop on Monday the 24th, and that is the final trailer for Realms Unknown Mannequin, our new audio drama that's coming out on October 30th. So you guys are a little bit privileged here. You get to see this and nobody else does until it drops on the Discords. Here we go. Okay, there you go. That's the third and final trailer for Realms Unknown Mannequin. This is our 6th audio drama. It's going to be at Sunday, October 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Mark it on your calendars. We are literally trying to make this as scary as possible. So hopefully we will be able to take care of that for you. Scare the shit out of you. We need your scared shit. Okay.
Wait, hold on.
All right. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's been fun. All right. So that's about it. Let's find somebody to raid. Do any of you have any suggestions for a raid?
Tuba Swan is still alive.
Tuba?
Tuba's still alive. So my suggestion goes to Tuba Swan.
Same. He's playing Little Nightmares, which is on the topic of horror.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, we didn't even talk about Little Nightmares. Man, that's a fantastic game, and the sequel by itself. Man,
So good.
Okay, but let's be real. The topic of horror games could be like an entire like series of
right,
its own.
Right.
Yeah, there was no way we were going to be able to cover everything, so we did our best to try to really hit on all the main points of what has been available in the horror genre this entire time. So
Right. We all got a little bit like to talk about aspects.
yeah. Alrighty, so thank you all for joining. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, because Rage ain't gonna do that shit. Steven ain't gonna do that shit. Abby ain't gonna do that shit. Cage is going to do the shit. So it's all Cage's fault. Blame him. He's gonna be sorry he left early, and it's all his fault. Don't forget it. All right, we'll see you later.
Oh no.
Adios.